సార్ స్టార్ట్ చేయండి.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to DCB Suryapeta YouTube channel. Khammam and Suryapeta districts 10th class online classes for social studies. This is Vadde Chandrasekhar, school assistant social studies working at GHS CPS Madira, Khammam district. So in the previous class we have discussed about the first part of 5th lesson, Indian rivers and water resources. So today we are going to discuss about the second part of this lesson, water use and water usage in the river basin, Tungabhadra river basin. Okay, so in the previous class we have discussed about river systems in India, drainage system in India, like Himalayan rivers, peninsular rivers, and where they are starting, and what are the tributaries of Himalayan rivers, and what are the tributaries of peninsular rivers, and where they are originating, and through which states they are passing. Like this, we have discussed so many important points related to Himalayan rivers and peninsular rivers. So these rivers are providing water to the Indian agriculture and Indian population. So we are depending on these rivers for water sources. So like that, we need water for so many usages, so many requirements. To fulfill our requirements, we have to depend on this water. So while we are depending on water, how we are using water and how we are getting water into our village, like that we will discuss today. So now I'm going to screen sharing. Okay, today's lesson is Indian rivers and water resources part 2. So the learning outcomes of today's class, the students explains about water usage, how we are using water in our day-to-day life, in our daily activities. Like that, everyone, the student can explain. The student classifies the water flows into your two surface, classifies water flows into two, surface flow and internal flow. The third one is the student explains the different uses of water. The student explains the water use in Tungabhadra river basin. So in the previous class we have discussed about Krishna river. It's a peninsular river. Tungabhadra is a major tributary of Krishna river. So today we are going to discuss about the water use in Tungabhadra river basin. Okay, these are the learning outcomes of today's class. So children, listen carefully. I will try to explain all the important points from our class. So water use. Children, I want to ask a small question. What do we need water? So in our day-to-day life, without water, we can't live. So while we are using water, from where we are getting water? So particularly in our village or in our area, we have two types of water flows. Water is a flowing resource. It is not constant resource. It's a flowing resource. So we have two types of flows. That is a surface flow, like small streams, tributaries, rivers, like this. Surface flow, the water which is flowing on the surface of the earth is called surface flow. So the second flow is a groundwater. So groundwater means the water which is in the ground. So that is called groundwater. So how can we get groundwater? Through open wells and bore wells. By digging open wells and bore wells, we are dragging out the groundwater. So children, how the water is stored in ground, from where it is going into the ground. So when the rain is coming, when the rain water is flowing on surface of the earth, some of the water penetrate into the ground. So that percolated water stored on hard rocks, which won't allow water into go in depth. So that become groundwater. When we dug a open well or a bore well, we will get that percolated water into the surface. So like that, we have two types of flows majorly. That is surface flow. When when the rain is coming, the small streams are formed on the surface of the earth, and the streams flowing through our village to another village, like that, they will flowing up to the sea or ocean. Okay, like that we have surface flows. So at that time, some of the water percolate into the ground like that. So next, why do we need water? For what purposes we need water? So children, so what are the requirements of us with water? So first one is agriculture. So we need water for agriculture. So for farmers, they need water to cultivate crops. So with to get good yielding or to get good crops, we need water, sufficient water. Okay, so nothing but sufficient rainfall. In rainy season, we will get a sufficient rainfall. Then we will store in the dams, and stored water we will use for the entire year for agriculture purpose. So we need water for agriculture purposes. So when we are getting water or rainfall in rainy season, sometimes we are experiencing floods. So why do we experience floods? So when the heavy rainfalls receives in a place, that leads to the floods. So floods causes for more damage, either it is human damage or property damage. Like that we will experience floods. So sometimes in some places where less rainfall or scanty rainfall receives, in those places they will experience droughts means famines. So lack of water, they face so many problems. So with water, if we have excess water, that leads to floods. If we have scanty water or rainfall, that leads to drought. Both are affected human life, either in mancaste or property. Next, in our day-to-day life, we are using water for domestic purpose and for giving water for animals. So domestic purpose and animals, we need water daily. So then the third one is the industrial usage. So for the development of the society, we are establishing so many industries. So these industries need so much of water. So that's why most of the industries are setting up on the river banks where the sufficient water is available. In those places only the industries are giving importance to establish industries. Then they will get sufficient water for their industrial usage. So we need more water for industrial usage. So like that, for this purpose, our governments are constructing large dams and share the large reservoir water to the industrial purpose and agricultural purpose, and some of the water to the domestic and drinking water purpose, like that. But when the industries are using a fresh water which is taking from rivers, at the same time they are uh, releasing effluent water into the rivers. So that effluent water should be treated in a recycling plants which was set up by industries. So if the industries won't do this action or activity properly, the river water may be contaminated because of the effluents which were released by industries. So these are the major uses of water: for agriculture, for domestic purpose and animals. For industrial usage, we need water. Okay, children. Here now we have discussed 2 points. What is a water flow, and the second one is the uses of water. So children, observe the picture. Are you observing the picture? So here blue arrow marks and the red arrow marks are there. So the blue arrow marks, the water is coming into your village. If you take your village an example, so the water which is coming into your village, that water is treated as inflow of your village. Inflow, the water coming into your village, that is inflow. At the same time, as earlier we discussed, water is a flowing resource, it's not constant. So that's why some of the water flow out from your village through to another village. So that is here the red arrow mark, the water is going out from your village, this is called outflow. So these are the water which is coming into your village is called inflow, and the water which is going out from your village is called outflow. So these are the two important flows, that is inflow and outflow of water. So our demand of water is based on inflow and outflow. Okay, so if inflow is less and outflow is more, then we may face a drought. If the water inflow is high and outflow is low, we will get more water. Okay, so these are the two flows, inflow and outflow. So availability of water. So now only we discussed inflow and outflow, and because of rainfall we have two flows, so that is a surface flow and groundwater. So like that, for water purpose, so where we are getting water depends on inflow and outflow. Already depends on inflow, the water which is coming into your village, and already available water in your village. So based on these two, we can calculate the availability of water for your needs. So the difference between inflow and outflow is called stock of the water. Children, listen carefully. What is stock? Stock water is means the difference between inflow and outflow is called stock. If inflow is more and outflow is less, the balance between these two is called as stock. Okay, so how can we measure the inflow? So in rainy season, in newspapers and TV news channels, we are hearing about news about reservoirs, how much water is coming into reservoir and how much water is going out, going down from the reservoir, like that. So many news we are hearing. Okay, so how we calculate or how we can measure the inflow or outflow? So amount of water in liters per minute and in liters per minute, that outflow. So how many liters of water is coming inflow per minute, and how many liters of water is going out per minute as outflow. So the difference between these two is called stock of water at that time. Okay, for example, if you take Nagarjuna Sagar Dam, so our engineers, they are giving information about the inflow and outflow water. So 1 lakh cusecs of water is coming into the dam, and we are releasing our 10,000 cusecs of water into from the dam to the down places. Like that, they are giving information. So here we have two parameters to measure the water, is cubic meter and cusec. So first, cubic meter. What do you mean by cubic meter? A volume that is made by cube equal to 1 meter each side. So 1 cubic meter of water is equal to 1000 liters. Okay, so cubic meters, we can use this for calculate or measure the volume of the water which is in the reservoir. Okay, cusec, it is useful for the measurement of flowing water. Cusec, 1 cubic meter per second equal to 28.31685 liters. This is called cusec. So when in rainy season the rivers are over flooded, and so much of thousands and lakhs of cusecs of water is going into sea. So that time, to measure the flow water, we are using cusecs. So by using these two parameters, we are giving information about water. So this is about the availability of water. So for example, if you take your village as an example, in our village, what are the water sources? What are the sources of water? So we can observe in our villages, tanks are there, ponds are there. In some villages, lakes are there. These are all surface water storages. So tanks, ponds, lakes, these are all surface water storages. So sometimes we have groundwater storage also. Villagers draw water from wells and tube wells also. So where the surface water is not sufficient for their needs, the villagers depend on groundwater by digging open wells and in some places deeper bore wells also. So difference between inflow and outflow affects the stock of water. As earlier we discussed, if the inflow is less and outflow is more, that affects the stock of water. Okay, that's why always we have to keep in mind that inflow should be more than the outflow from our village. Then we will have more water as stock. So like that, when we are depending on groundwater, we should try to recharge groundwater also in rainy season. If we won't concentrate on recharging of groundwater, particularly in rainy season, we will face a groundwater problem also. That leads to depletion of groundwater. If that drying out water from ground, if it is more than the recharge of groundwater, that leads to depletion of water in future. We may not get groundwater in future. Okay, future generations will suffer because of our excess usage of groundwater than recharge of water. Okay, so we should concentrate on the problem of depletion of groundwater. Then availability of water depends on the annual flows and stock that recharges wells and tube wells. Okay, so in every rainy season, we should try to recharge more water. That will affect the next year's availability of water. Okay, so we should keep our needs in this range. So based on our availability, water availability, we should confirm our needs to that range only. So if our needs are more than the availability of water, we may get drought situations. Next, water problem also. If the difference between usage and recharge is more, we will get drought conditions. Okay, that's why always we should keep our needs in our range, availability of water, based on availability of water only. Next, water conflicts. So some of our intellectuals, they are saying that in future we may get water wars. So in earlier days we have wars for wealth and property and land, but in future we may have wars for water. Third World War for water maybe get. Okay, like that, nowadays we are experiencing so many water conflicts between states, between countries also we have water conflicts. So water sharing among states and countries leads to water disputes or water conflicts. So conflict in usage of water, who have to use more water and who has to use less water, who have more rights on water. Our upper catchment area has more water or lower catchment area has more rights. Like that, conflicts are rising. So in our India, so many issues are there related to water usage, particularly in South India. There is an issue between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. There is an issue between Andhra and Telangana in usage of Krishna river water and Godavari river water, and between Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana in Tungabhadra water usage. Like that, so many issues are there in our India. So if the availability of water is more, there is no issue. When we have drought conditions in those years, these issues are raising more than other years, because lack of water, everyone needs water. So without water we can't live. That's why the conflicts are rising more in drought conditions than other years. Okay, here the four states which we have discussed now: Telangana, Andhra, Kerala, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So these are the states which have water disputes between states, interstate river water disputes. Okay, then water use in Tungabhadra river basin. So now, how the Tungabhadra river catchment spreads over Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana, and how we are using this river water, how we are sharing Tungabhadra river between three states, Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra. Okay, Tungabhadra shared by 3 southern states, that is Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. The Tungabhadra river is a major tributary of large river system, peninsular river system, that is Krishna river system. So this is a major tributary of river Krishna. Okay, the origin of Tungabhadra river, the origin of the most of the peninsular rivers are in Western Ghats. Like that, the origin of Tungabhadra river also is in Western Ghats, because Western Ghats are acting as a watershed between the south flows and eastern flows. Sorry, west flows and eastern flows, and Western Ghats are receiving more rainfall in southwest monsoon season. That's why Western Ghats are the origin or birthplace of more peninsular rivers. Okay, Tungabhadra is a combination of two small rivers, that is Tunga and Bhadra. These are the two small rivers joined as Tungabhadra river. Okay, Tungabhadra river is a combination of two small rivers, that is Tunga and Bhadra. So the direction of the Tungabhadra, as usual, like that, west to east flow. Maximum, most of the peninsular rivers are flowing from west to east only, because the slope of the land tilted towards east. That's why most of the, almost all the rivers, all peninsular rivers are flowing towards east side and joining with Bay of Bengal only two, Narmada, Tapati and Loni, Sabarmati, those rivers only, they are flowing towards west. Okay, the direction of the Tungabhadra river is west to east. So Tungabhadra river is a combination of Tunga and Bhadra rivers. So the origin of the Tungabhadra is Western Ghats. Okay, the catchment area, the total catchment area of Tungabhadra river is 71,417 square kilometers, and in that 57,671 square kilometers are in Karnataka. It means maximum catchment area lies in the state of Karnataka. But this basin has two parts, the upper and middle catchment area, which is in Karnataka. So major portion of the catchment area is there in Karnataka. The lower portion of the catchment in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay, so the total river basin or Tungabhadra river basin divided into two parts. Upper and middle catchment area is in Karnataka, and lower portion is in both the states Karnataka and Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. So we have a large dam on this river, Tungabhadra river, in Hospet, which is located in Karnataka. We have a major dam which was constructed on Tungabhadra river in Karnataka. So here, children, see the map of South Indian peninsular rivers. So here red circle is there. In that circle you can observe the river Tungabhadra. Okay, at the initial stage of Tungabhadra river, it is combining as Tungabhadra. Two small rivers are there. They both are joining as Tungabhadra river, and this is joining with the river Krishna. This is a major tributary of Tungabhadra river. Children, did you get the point? The flow of the river also you can understand from west to east. Okay, so this is the direction of the flow also. So the maximum peninsular rivers are flowing towards east and joining with Bay of Bengal. So this is a major dam which was constructed on Tungabhadra river in Karnataka. This is Hospet Dam, which is located in Karnataka. Okay, the three states, Karnataka, Andhra and Telangana, they are sharing the water from this dam only. Okay, so the official statistics about Tungabhadra river basin. Okay, farmland is the main land. Others, trees, groves, fallow land and cultivable waste, permanent patches, forests and natural vegetation cover the rest of the area. So in the Tungabhadra river basin, maximum land under cultivation, and some of the land has trees, groves, fallow land, and some of the cultivable waste like that, permanent patches, forest, natural vegetation like that. Okay, maximum catchment area is under cultivation. Some area used for tanks, for the construction of small tanks in villages. to store water in rainy season. So lower portion of this basin characterized, okay, lower portion of this basin characterized by lower rainfall and characterized drought conditions, particularly in Andhra and Telangana regions. Okay, so maximum water is coming from upper and middle catchment area, which is in Karnataka. Some regions depend on wells and tube wells, and rest depends on canal water also. So the places or regions which are there in the catchment area for Tungabhadra river, they are not getting sufficient water and sufficient rainfall. That's why they are depending on wells, open wells and tube wells also. So some of the regions are getting canal waters. Okay, but all the region is not getting sufficient canal water. So here you can observe the Tungabhadra canal, which is coming from Hospet and which gives water to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Okay. So activities in this region. What are the activities which are going on in this catchment area or in this basin? So the first and foremost is encroachment of public lands for cultivation is common in this region. So it is common in all the regions, like that in this region also encroachment of public lands for cultivation is common. Okay, they are occupying the public lands and forest, they are clearing the forest and they are occupying the government lands or public lands, forest lands, like that fallow lands, pasture lands. They are occupying and they are becoming as cultivable or for they're taking them as cultivable lands. So that leads to the water scarcity. So rampant felling of trees and mining activity. So the people, they are cutting trees, rampant felling of trees. So in large scale they are cutting trees, and mining activity which is going on this river basin, that is also leads to the water scarcity. Forest degradation affects biodiversity. So nowadays, for developmental purposes, we are cutting so much of forest. We are clearing a forest area, that leads to the scanty rainfall and receiving low rainfall because of lack of forest green cover. That affects the biodiversity. That affects the animals, birds, insects which are living in forest areas. Inflows of groundwater depend on tree cover in catchment area. So if we have more forest cover or tree cover in that region, we can experience more groundwater. More water percolate into the ground because of the green vegetation. The roots or the trees, they lower the speed of flow, and that leads to more percolation of groundwater. So inadequate tree cover leads to water runoff. If we don't have trees on surface, the water flow, the inadequate tree cover leads to water runoff. There is no chance to percolate the water into ground. That leads to depletion of groundwater also. So if we have less tree cover, that causes for flash floods. Okay, within less time we will experience more flood water. Must adapt a plan for water conservation and a system of sharing water. So based on the future needs and present needs, we should adapt a proper plan based on the catchment area, needs of the people, and availability of water, and based on the forest cover, tree cover. Like that, we have prepare a plan, and a system must be developed to share water properly without raising any dispute. So here these are cultivable lands in Tungabhadra river basin. So lost its storage capacity. From last 50 years, the Tungabhadra dam in Hospet is reducing the storage capacity over decades. 50 years ago, the capacity of the reservoir was 3,766 million cubic meters. But because of the silt, due to mining dust, soil erosion, and debris, lost as much as 849 million cubic meters capacity. Okay. Okay, because of the silt, because of the soil erosion, because of the debris which is coming through water flow, lack of forest cover, so much of erosion is going, soil erosion is going on. That leads to the deposition of silt in the dam riverbed. Okay, that leads to the reduction in reservoir capacity. Proper mining standards are not following in iron ore extraction in Kudremukh and manganese in Sandur. These are the major mining sites in Karnataka, which are located in Karnataka. Kudremukh is famous for iron ore and manganese is famous for Sandur. So these are, Sandur is famous for manganese. These are two in Tungabhadra river basin in Karnataka. So because of the because of lack of proper standards in mining activities, so much of dust is coming into the reservoir that leads to reduction in storage of water. So here we can observe how the silt is depositing in the river bed in reservoir. So here sand in the water sinks on the bedrock or river. So like that, the depth of the reservoir is reducing day by day because of the deposition of silt, debris, mining dust. So that leads to lack of water capacity in future generations. So like that, the reservoir capacity is reducing day by day. That leads to the water scarcity in the down catchment area in lower portion of the river basin. So here the iron ore mining in Kudremukh in Karnataka. Okay, children, are you seeing the picture? This is a Kudremukh iron ore. Because of this mining activity, lack of standards in mining activity, that leads to the silt deposition, mining dust deposition in the reservoir. So conflicts between states. Karnataka, Telangana and Andhra Pradesh are related to availability of water usage. So we have conflicts between these states in water usage. Who has to use more water? Karnataka is demanding for more water because most of the catchment area is there in Karnataka. But at the same time, the Telangana and Andhra, they are also demanding for water, sufficient water share in Tungabhadra river. Okay, water is shared based on agreements. So many agreements are there between states in water sharing. 80% of people depend on agriculture. In this river, Tungabhadra river basin, 80% of the people depend on agriculture. So water is flow resource and its storage or use upstream affects what is available to people downstream. So here the major problem is that in drought conditions, the upper portion of the people, they are using more water and they are not releasing water into the downward people. But at the same time in flood conditions, the upper portion, they are releasing water into the down portion and the downstream people, they are affecting because of floods. So in flood seasons, the downstream people who are living in lower catchment area, they are affecting more because of floods. But at the same time, drought conditions also, the upper portion people, they are not releasing water because lack of water. That time also the lower stream people or lower sections of people, they are affecting more. So like that, finally, the people who are living in lower regions, they are affecting more than the upper regions or upper catchment area. That's why the disputes are rising. Okay, the lower catchment area people are demanding for equitable share in the water in river water. So what are the major crops in this river basin? Irrigation is provided through canal system. So canals are there, they are providing water to the crops. In rain-fed regions, farmers extract groundwater through bore wells. So as earlier we discussed, some of the people who are not having a canal water irrigation facility, they are depending on groundwater by digging deeper bore wells. The major crops are paddy, jowar, sugarcane, cotton, and finger millet. So these are the important crops. Okay, so the children, you can observe the pictures. Here's a sugarcane and paddy. These are the major crops which needs more water. Okay, so the crops, jowar, finger millet, cotton, these are the other major crops. So cropping pattern should be changed. So the people who are living in the catchment area of this river basin, they have to change a cropping pattern based on the availability of water. The area is ideal for semi-arid crops. So like that, this area is not suitable for fully irrigated crops. So it is ideal for semi-arid crops. But major crops grown demand a lot of water like paddy and sugarcane. These two crops needs more water, but the availability of water is less. That's why all the people they are cultivating paddy and sugarcane. That is not sufficient. Okay, that is not sufficient to that region. More demand for water from all the areas. Okay, lot of difference between farmers who access water and who don't have access water. So we can observe the differences between the people or farmers who are having more water and who are not having more water. The farmers who are having more water, they will get some of good yieldings, but the who don't have water, they won't get good yieldings and they may face so many financial problems also. Okay, change in cropping pattern should be encouraged. So to meet this drawback of this river basin, the governments they should have prepare a cropping pattern. They should change, and cropping pattern should be changed based on the availability of water. So they should educate the farmers also like that. So demand for water during the last 2 decades, increasing trends in industrials, water for industries, improved standard of life, developmental activities. Okay, nowadays for the development of the society, we are establishing so many industries, but at the same time, those industries needs more water. So in the name of developmental activities, we are cutting the forest areas. So many developmental activities are going on, but at the same time, those developmental activities where the proper standards are maintaining, that those are lead to pollution. Okay, because of the some of the developmental activities that caused for pollution also. So in that river basin or catchment area, 27 large units are there, industries, and 2543 small units are there in this basin. So industries releasing effluents into the rivers. So much in so many regions, public protested against effluents which are releasing into the rivers by industrial industries. Okay, 1984, due to the molasses killed fish on large scale in this river basin. So the industries they should set up uh, effluent treatment plants or recycling plants, and they should release effluents after recycling only. So without recycling, the industry should not release water into the river basin. But lack of supervision, lack of so many punishment activities, the industries are not following the proper environmental guidelines, and they are releasing as it is effluents, and that are causing for the pollution in the river water. So laws enacted but not implemented properly. So many laws are there, but they are not implemented properly. So because that leads to severe pollution. Okay, so many challenges are there. Mismatch between keep pace with the developmental activities and providing sanitation, drinking water, supply for all sections of people is a major challenge. Another challenge is that providing minimum facilities to the needy people. So at least we should provide drinking water for every citizen. That is a basic requirement. So a report says that provision of drinking water to township is not planned well. So nowadays, because of the population growth, so many small townships are rising, but water supply planning is not planned properly. So many socio-economic aspects are there. Water use management is not planned very well. So conflicts within communities in a region. So now we discussed the conflicts between the states, but in some regions, the conflicts between some communities also in water usage. So between agriculture, industry, or drinking water are common. So the needs of the agriculture sector, industrial sector, and drinking water day by day, it is increasing. That's why we have to plan properly. Interstate disputes between Karnataka and combined Andhra Pradesh arise due to transboundary nature of the river. So as earlier we have discussed, water is the flow resource. That's why we are having or experiencing so many disputes. So now we have discussed second part of this lesson. So I will try to recapitulate once again all the lesson. water is available for different sources. So what are the sources of water? So surface water and groundwater. So the major source of water is rainfall. Okay, excess drying out of groundwater leads to depletion of groundwater. That leads to groundwater problem. So this is the major problem. That's why we have to concentrate on recharge of groundwater also. So many disputes are rising between states regarding water usage. So many disputes are rising between states like Karnataka, Andhra, Telangana, and Kerala, Tamil Nadu, like that. So many disputes are rising in water usage. Day by day, demand for water is increasing, like agriculture demand and industrial demand and domestic purpose. The demand is increasing day by day. So to meet the demand of future demand, we should plan properly and we should try to recharge groundwater more. Next, at the same time, we have to save water, like to save water and to meet available water, we should change our cropping pattern. So according to the water availability, coordinating the developmental activities and depletion of water is a big challenge. So when we are concentrating on developmental activities, at the same time, we should concentrate on the recharge of water also. So then that won't leads to depletion of water. So otherwise it leads to depletion of water. It will become a major challenge. So children, so some of the questions are there for evaluation purpose. Up to now we have discussed the second part of this lesson. So many topics we have discussed, so many points we learned. So I am giving some questions for evaluation purpose. So try to write answers to these questions and show to your social studies teacher in your school. Okay, the first question is, how many states are sharing the water of Tungabhadra river? So what are the important states which are sharing Tungabhadra river? Okay, we can ask this same question now. What are the states are sharing a Tungabhadra river basin? Okay, so what do we mean by stock of water? So here you have to write the definition of stock of water. So earlier we have discussed about inflow and outflow, and the difference between inflow and outflow is nothing but stock of water. Okay, like that we have to write the answer. So the third one is explain the reasons for interstate disputes. So what are the reasons for interstate disputes? So what are the reasons for disputes between Andhra, Telangana, and Andhra, Karnataka, like that, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, like that? We have to write the reasons. What are the reasons for water pollution? Analyze. So in what ways the water is polluting? So like that we have to write reasons and analyze them. Suggest some measures to overcome water disputes among different sections of the people. Nowadays, in same region, the disputes are rising between communities also. So suggest some measures or give some suggestions to overcome these disputes between the different sections of the people. Okay, children, we have completed second part of fifth lesson, Indian rivers and water resources. Okay, thank you, children. Listen, listen once again this video and try to write answers for those questions which are given in evaluation part and show to your social studies teacher. Okay, thank you. We will meet in the third part of fifth lesson. Okay, day after tomorrow.